Partnership is giving students the opportunity to see what a career in the outdoor recreation field is all about.
Main Street Skowhegan is partnering with the University of Maine at Farmington and Skowhegan Outdoors AmeriCorps program in launching the Canoe program. It stands for Career Access Through National Service and Outdoor Education.
It's open to all, from those just graduating high school to adults looking for a career switch. The program offers hands-on opportunities and training towards certifications, skills, and credits at UMF.
Organizers say Maine's outdoor recreation is a $3.4 million industry and growing, and having a workforce to support that is essential.
I think sometimes you grow up in a place and you can't wait to leave, but I would like to think that the Canoe program introduces career opportunities to these young people that would invigorate them to stay and support their local economies and support rural Maine and support the outdoor recreation industry generally, and specifically Skowhegan, with how much work and planning and passion is being put into the infrastructure projects here in Skowhegan. To have a workforce to support that development will be even more vital as time goes on.
The program launches in June of 2026. Applications will open at the beginning of next year.
They hope to make this an annual program.